Hey, this is Tim. If you are in high ticket sales, you know that there are offers out there that are absolutely amazing. Top of the top offers, cream of the crop that are going to change your life. You can make 30, 40, 50K per month. And then there are absolutely shit offers. YouTube is going to censor this now, but there's absolutely shit offers where you're making nothing, okay? And it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your money, because time is money, and you don't want to be on those. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 7 levels of offers that we see in high ticket, in remote sales. And there's this cool little video trend going around called the 7 levels of. They have the 7 levels of rappers. There was the 7 levels of actors, the 7 levels of films. There's a whole bunch of them coming out if you search the 7 levels of. So I thought it would be a really good idea to make a fun explainer on these 7 levels of offers that you see pop up in the high ticket space, because myself, as someone who has been in high ticket sales for the last 2.5 years, I've trained also a bunch of sales reps, not just being on offers myself, but also training sales reps, helping them get to 20, 25K plus in commissions, and having built sales offers myself, offers in the high ticket space, and hired reps on these. I pretty much know how offers work at a variety of different levels. So I'm going to break down to you the 7 levels of offers, what to avoid, what to look for. And this should give you some insight, some clarity on what to expect, what to look for in the high ticket sales space as you go on this journey to make much more money online as a remote high ticket sales rep. So level 1 is just trash, simple, absolute trash. You don't even need a sales rep. These are the kind of offers where you're not going to make money on these offers. I'm not going to even spend a lot of time here, because on this kind of offer, you're literally just going to lose money and time being there. It's where there's no track record in the offer at all. The business owner has never ever made money whatsoever. So maybe you're coming in and closing on something that's an idea or that's a concept. There doesn't even need to be a closer, because it's basically a waste of time, a complete waste of time. And the business needs to actually be built first. So I've seen this happen sometimes where someone says, we are going to eventually have an offer and we need a closer. And no shade to those people. Nothing personal against them, but those kind of opportunities, I always say, hey, I'm not going to hire a closer for you, because first you need to get data, you need to get proof that the role, that the offer actually works. And once you get to that position, then, and you have volume where you have like 60 to 100 leads being booked in per month minimum, then you can look at getting an SDR, like getting a setter, not even a closer, right? So these offers, don't waste time on them. Trash offers. There's no proven track record. It's not even a business. Level 2, depressing offers. So depressing, you want to run away from these. The first one, don't even think about them, but this one, you may look at them and hear them. They may come across your desk or however you find your roles, but you want to just run away from these offers completely, okay? And these offers are where maybe you could make like 500 to 1,500 a month, if that. Sometimes you'll make nothing. Sometimes you might get lucky and make a little bit more. But in these offers, you're generally going to find a very poor infrastructure where the business just isn't really developed. There's no proper education for you as a closer to come in and perform. There's no way that you're actually going to really make money. The lead flow is often terrible, where you're just waiting for leads to come in. And sometimes what I've seen is these are just low ticket roles. So I've seen sales reps who come to me for training and they're stuck on a low ticket role where they're selling something that's like $1,000 or $2,000. You don't even necessarily need a closer for that. If you have a really good webinar as a business owner, you don't even need a closer. So you looking at this, getting into high ticket sales or being on offers, looking for better roles, stay away from these kind of offers at level 2, which are just, they make some promises. They say there's a lot of potential, but there really is no infrastructure. There's no lead flow. And there's just nothing's really happening. It's kind of like number 1, which is trash. But level 2, there may be something going on in the business, a little bit of money being made, but you're not really going to make anything with these offers. Level 3 is what we call risky. I don't love these offers. I stay away from them, and I advise the sales reps that I train to stay away from them. These are not offers that I ever, rarely, there's been a few times where I thought something had good potential, but they're risky, where I don't endorse these. So these are offers that I call growth operator launches and shitty biz ops. So there's this new term that's like growth operator, which is all these... Don't get mad if you're watching this and you are what I'm about to say. There's all these 19, 20-year-old kids that are launching and scaling companies. I get them in my DMs every single day. Hey, I'm scaling, we scale, we help scale, we grow, right? Scale. They all say the same terms, but really what'll happen is they'll like hire 50 closers on an offer, or like 20 closers on some launch, on this launch that's supposed to be the biggest thing, but there's no business really even involved. Like there isn't a proper business. There's some influencer that's on Instagram that they're propping up and they say, you're going to make a bunch of money from this launch. And maybe on the launch, you do like 2K, maybe you do 5K, maybe you could swing a 10K month. I've seen it happen. I've seen one of our closers was a really good performing rep on a launch and he made 7.5K in like 2 weeks, which is really cool. Shout out to Kim, right? It happens. But what I've seen generally with these level 3 risky offers is you have really young guys that are scaling brands and they're not really scaling businesses. They're doing this kind of quick cash grab and they hop from role to role to role, scaling and failing. But there's no business. So what will happen is, what you'll see is there's a lot of leads coming through. So they'll promise you're going to get inbound leads. You're going to get a lot of calls, but there's no infrastructure in the business. There's zero infrastructure. It's not, the business is not set up for you to succeed in the long term as a sales rep and for you to actually grow and make money along with longevity and actually change your life. And you'll find that there's oftentimes like some people getting paid, but more often than not, and the offer will just like crash overnight. That's what usually happens. So the offer starts off good, maybe there's a bunch of leads coming through, but then boom, it just crashes because they're not running a real business. They're trying to do a quick launch, almost like a crypto pump and dump. Like that's kind of what it is, but it's the same thing like that in the info product space. So level 3 is risky, not a fan of these offers. Level 4, 5, 6, and 7 are where we start to get a little bit better. And I'm not even a fan of level 4 still yet. I think for a sales rep to really change their life and to play in the game, you need to get to level 5, 6, and 7. But I'll give you level 4 because this is where I start to be a little more open-minded. So level 4 is hopeful. This is where there's a good offer, but there's poor infrastructure. The offer itself is not bad. This is actually the offer that I made most of my money on. The dating offer that I was on wasn't bad. It was a good offer. The infrastructure wasn't amazing, but I was able to like be an established company. I'll explain what I mean. So the OT is usually going to be 5K to 10K because the offer itself is great and the roles have high potential where you can do well, especially even if you get in early in the company and you get into one of their foundational stages of growth, you're able to do really well with them. You can grow with the company. But the problem is in these kind of roles, the offer has the chance to just go bottoms up if the offer owner messes up. So if the offer owner doesn't do well and the offer owner kind of loses the vision or the offer owner realizes, hey, this is not what I wanted to do, or there's tweaks that happen, the offer owner could just be messed up. And one thing I found that these roles are like new roles with a solid founding team. Generally, they're offers that pop up, not overnight, but they've been running for a while. There's one of the people on our team is closing on a role like this, which is, I think, anywhere from between level 4 to level 5. It's like it's a hopeful kind of role where there's a lot of potential. There is potential, but the infrastructure isn't as developed as it could be. The role is kind of new, but there is a solid founding team. They are taking it seriously. So at level 4, people are taking the game seriously. And this is the offer that I was on. And then it graduated into what I would call level 5, which is a solid offer. So that's where it was between that level 4, level 5 mark. And levels 5, 6, and 7, here's what I'll tell you. The only way you're going to get offers that are at 5, 6, and 7 is if you are in a community where they vet and verify roles. That's the only way it's going to happen. Yes, I will say it explicitly, you have to pay to play in high-ticket sales. Unless you have this amazing network, unless you get lucky and rely on luck, you're going to have to kind of invest in training, invest in a community where they can hire, where they can train, they can place you on a role. In our community, we have this in our protocols, as the hat says, training program, we have this. I'm not selling you anything, but if you want to book a call with my team, a strategy call, it's not a sales call, just a 15-minute strategy call where we figure out if we can help you when it comes to applying and sourcing roles alongside very advanced sales training so you can get on a role that can give you 15, 20, 25K OTE and build a closer skill set where you're able to perform on that role. Book a call. The link is down below for a strategy call. It's not a sales call. There's no pitch. We don't sell you anything. In order to get sold, you have to come to me, and you can't book anything with me from this channel. Okay, let's go down to level 5. So level 5 is what I call a solid role. So this is where things start to get good now, where I'm excited. I'm cool. Like you can make money here and really start to make your stamp your mark in high ticket sales. So level 5 is the OTE is generally going to be 10 to 20K, and it is a realistic OTE where you know what to expect. So I said the role that I was on was like a level 4, but if I'm being honest, it was more of a level 5. The dating offer that I was closing on, it was between hopeful and solid because the infrastructure wasn't amazing, but it was a solid company, meaning where if they were doing 100K plus consistently per month, they had a track record. And a level 5 offer is where you know what to expect. There's basic SOPs, they have basic training. There's a few closers that are going to be on the roll. Oftentimes there's 2 or 3 people closing. The company's actually making money and they've been making money for a while. The thing that is the downside is that the founder may not be crazy about like growth. So the founder may be a bit complacent, right? One of our coaches right now is on an offer like this where I won't say who they are, but he's one of our coaches. He performs very well. He's a 25K closer. He's one of the best I've seen actually at sales. He's very, very good. And what he does is he's doing well, but on his offer, the offer owner is not necessarily like trying to aggressively scale this offer, which is great because he makes money in other ways, which makes the offer they sell very, very legit. So they're not doing things to try to like scale fast. And as a result, my guy, who's, someone I'm quite close to, he's a bit capped in his income. And he's making months of 15, 20, 25K consistently, but he's capped by the role because it's not one of those crazy growth roles. So these kind of roles, level 5 roles, will pay the bills. You can make 15K, 20K, but if you want to really change the game for yourself, you're going to have to go beyond a level 5 role, and you're going to have to go to level 6, which is the next level, which is what we call a black swan role. Okay? A black swan role is where it's vetted, it's verified, and there's a consistent track record, and you know that you're going to make cash. So there's a consistent track record, but the OTE is way higher. So the company is actively growing, and if you time this right, you're going to change your life. So an example of this is I was managing actually an offer like this for 3 months. I won't say who the influencer was. There's a guy on YouTube who's pretty popular now, and I acted as a sales manager. I was on managing his sales process and coaching his team for 3 months. And we scaled organically to 200K per month. And that's an example of a black swan role. It's not even like the role has to be so established, because established, what does that even mean? If it's a new role, if it's a new company, maybe it hasn't been that established because it's new, but it's a role where there's a massive amount of potential. The founder is super serious about that potential, and there's systems in place where they have a culture of investing back into the offer, investing back into the team, and making it grow, right? So I was being paid well, the closer is being paid well, the coaching team is being paid well, right? Like that's a black swan role. And it's still a little bit risky. I think that this level 6 role is risky, but it's one of those roles that if you get in at the right time, you will actually change your life and you can do 30K plus. I've seen a bunch of closers make money on these black swan type roles where it's not a growth operator, it's not someone who's just hustling, but it's a business owner who has a vision. He's already had a track record, or she has already had a track record, and they say, we're gonna blow this thing to the moon and we're really gonna take it further. Let's invest in processes, systems to make it work. And they already have a track record of making money, so they're stacking on top of what was already built. This is a black swan role, and I love these roles. And then level 7, the final role, is a god tier role. This is the role that I was actually able to land a couple of months ago. I've since left the role, but I landed this role and I worked with them for a bit of time. It was great being a part of the team, great being a part of the culture. These are life-changing roles where it's like 40K plus OTE, where you absolutely can make $250,000 to $500,000 being on this role, purely in terms of commissions. The thing is this, so these roles, it's going to be a company where the culture is amazing. That's a huge piece. So the culture wants you to succeed. Like the culture is set up for closers to perform, closers to thrive. The thing is, it's going to be challenging. You're going to have to work and you're going to have to prove yourself. You can't just show up, expect to do nothing and get handed inbound calls and, oh my God, you're going to make a bunch of money. You actually have to show up. You have to prove yourself. You have to put in work. But once you get into a flow, everyone is making money, and it's just who can be better, who can be better. So I was a part of a role like this. I was closing on an ecomm offer, and I realized how amazing the culture was and how everyone was making money. The top closer was doing months of 45, 50K. The second closer was doing 30, 40K. And everyone on the team was pacing at 15, 20K. And it was a team of about 7 closers, I believe, at the time. Maybe six to 8 closers. It was an amazing, amazing culture. The setters were dialed in. The sales manager was locked in and super on point, someone I respect actually a lot. And this is like a life-changing role. Just so happened at the time, closing on that role wasn't the thing that was aligned with me, and I moved on to focus more on building my own businesses. But it was a great experience and I was happy to be a part of it. So a level 7 god tier role is one of those life-changing roles that as a sales rep, if you can get in that, if you interview and you pass, it's not easy to make this role. It's not easy to get on this offer. It's going to be very difficult because they're going to vet you, they're going to challenge you, they're going to push you. But if you can get on it, and if you can land it, you will absolutely change your life. So that's my tier list. Those are the 7 levels of roles. Hopefully it makes sense. Go out and apply. And again, if you want access to our pipeline, we've got an amazing pipeline of roles where we upload 10 to 15 new vetted, verified roles every single day. If you want access to that, you can't buy it. You can't press some link and purchase it. You have to talk to me. Book a call with my team, a strategy call, to see if we can even help. 15 minutes where we'll lock in with you. We'll ask you a couple questions, see where you're at in your sales journey, see if it would be a good fit for us to help you and work with us. And if not, we'll point you in the direction of some free resources and assets that we think could make you a bunch more money, even without you having to invest money in them, okay? Take care, be blessed, go make yourself some money and find a good role for yourself and for your future, okay? Goodbye.